And we want to move to the next chapter here today, and that is what I think is an historically great offense. And I think it's a moment in time that a lot of people will talk about as we move forward here with college basketball. And that is Mark Few, and Tommy Lloyd was there for a number of years, but their staff in Mark Few, what they've done offensively has always been excellent. But in 2019, I want to just share this because I think it's worth noting. I think that they took something that was already really refined and done extremely well as an offensive system, and they made it more fluent and faster. In 2019, Gonzaga went 33-4. They were the number one Ken Palm offensive team in America. But they also had the number one 2-point percentage in America. You follow that up in 2020, they again come back and they have the number one offense in America, and they're number two in 2-point percentage. You may say, well, Sean, they might have had a lot of returners. So let's say between 2019 and 2020, they had virtually the same group. Well, I'm going to now go to 3 years in a row. 2021, a year ago, they had the number one offensive team, and historically their overall best offensive team ever. Number one in college basketball, Ken Palm. Number one 2-point field goal percentage on the season. That's 3 years in a row now. And then now where they're at this year is they're a little bit below their overall numbers from a year ago, but they're currently sitting at the number two offensive team. And they have the number one 2-point field goal percentage offense in America. That's 4 consecutive years, Arch. Their tempo, if you go back to 2019, it was 62, and then it went to 35, and then it went to 7 a year ago. Right now it's at 3. So I think they've always played a fast pace. Never have they played at a faster clip. Never have they scored better close to the basket. And they have now been the dominant offensive team in college basketball for 4 consecutive years. So if you said, well, what do I mean about refining it? And what are they doing that's so exceptional? I think we have a good way of showing Gonzaga playing offense. Arch, there's really 3 phases to Gonzaga's offense. And, you can't underestimate the first phase. We've shown transition clips with some of our previous edits when we've talked about players, but as a team, Gonzaga's pace, like we talked about, is as fast as anybody in college basketball. And their system has become faster in the last 4 years, as I talked about with some of those numbers. Again, point guard pushing, always a threat at the rim. That time, Drew Timme, he doesn't post. He almost beats the team down the court. But again, look where the ball is. And Arch, this is against Texas Tech, who we know is one of America's best defensive teams. But that last clip was a made field goal. So they're going to push the ball fast on a make or miss. And some of their best 3-point shots, like, for example, if you go back to that clip, we're showing you Texas Tech versus Gonzaga here. This is a great defensive team. They've proven that. But in the first 2 clips here that we're showing, it's almost like they're not trying, right? It's not that. It's the pace is at them at such a fast level that they don't get matched up, and wide open, uncontested threes. So, we've shown a rim run. We've shown 2 3-point shots. Here's defense to offense. Chet Holmgren, great job off a shot block. And guess what? They're not just running to the 3-point line. They'll also get you at the rim. Now, this is one of their favorites, which is hit the trailer, or the trailer in this case has the ball earlier, and they just go high to low. Notice this, as I set the tone. Gonzaga has 2 people on the right side. That's their 2 side. And they have a third guard on the left side. That's their 1 side. their guards in both their transition game and their flow occupy those spots. The two bigs, the 4 and the 5, they occupy the trailer, which Chet Holmgren has, and then the rim runner, which is Drew Timme. And again, the other part, it's not just fast pace shooting threes, but it's also high-low basketball, which is always a threat for a foul. And you see right there, jump hook against Alabama. Okay, stop. So if you think the first phase that I showed is Gonzaga pushing the pace on makes and misses, creating uncontested threes, their spacing is what I just described. And do not underestimate the direct entry, whether it's high, low, or the point guard directly to the rim runner, low post player, which we showed. Now, once you get back, and that's the first task if you're defending them, then that two side and one side and some of their actions you can see. And they're really, really good at picking on the ball screen defensive coverages. So here's the two side, Drew Timme with almost like a pitch, a little handoff. He turns it into strong action, right, Arch? A rim run with a player behind. And you pick your poison. You know, if Javon Quinterly stays in too long, the ball is going to be passed out for a three-point shot. He tries to stay more on his own man. And great job here by Nembhard of, you know, picking his dribble up, pivoting. And now look at the shot, though. Look at the shot. So this is now half-court basketball, Gonzaga's flow game. You want to know why they're number one in two-point field goal offense? Again, what's the first phase? First phase is the fast push. And now this becomes the second phase. Now they just get organized, and do not underestimate Drew Timme, and for that matter, Chet Holmgren, but especially Drew Timme's ability to pass. So remember we talked about the trailer in the low post in the middle of the floor? These are the actions. He's going to go to the two side where Gonzaga has two perimeter players. This time it's just a through cut backdoor. And it's a simple pass.
I think that's why at the end of the day, when you start talking about 2-point field goal percentage, a lot of people are going to assume that they have good big guys, where their big guys do a great job of scoring. I think the other thing that makes Gonzaga so interesting is their perimeter players, if they don't shoot a three, are shooting a layup.
Yeah.
They're either shooting downhill layups off the dribble, they're making their own layups, but cutting as well. They shoot point blank layups 1 through 5, and the percentage is leading them to either take really good threes, post touches, or layups.
That's the one thing, Arch, if you stop, you know, that I've learned this year is, you know, 17-foot pull-ups. Look, if you're wide open, you're uncontested, and, you know, some players are really good in that area of the court. In the NBA, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they shoot a ton of 2.15 to 17-foot shots, but because that's what they're great at. But if you watch Gonzaga, they're catching it in the low post. They're shooting layups. They're shooting open three-point shots. Part of what makes their 2-point percentage so strong, they don't take those tough, contested 15-foot twos or twos that are tough. And I have such a regret looking back. I wish I would have been more aware and coached that better because, you know, in some ways, Arch, it's like a turnover. You know, although it doesn't go as a turnover in the stat sheet, it's a tough shot. And by the way, if it goes in, it only counts for 2, not 3. But right now, their efficiency has all these things weaved into how they play. But again, we're on the second phase of Gonzaga, their flow game. So again, they're spacing, right? The two bigs, they take that middle area, the tunnel. You have the two side over there. Notice the two side. We've shown him screen. We've shown him back cut. Now he screens in. Look at Chet Holmgren. He's looking high-low first. He chooses the two side. He slips, and he's a very good shooter. And this is the other thing now. Any type of pass to the roller, Gonzaga loves to cut. We played them in Maui a few years ago, and they really hurt our defense with this. But, this is their baseline cut. If you just watch and press stop right now, maybe one more second, stop. If they stand, Chet Holmgren could make a pass, but the price is maybe an open three or a one more pass. But they cut. And if you're going to hard hedge on the side versus Gonzaga, you're going to deal with this type of action all game long. Nobody cuts better than they do off of a roll. That was their baseline cut action. This is the other phase of their flow. So they started the possession with the set. And if a set doesn't create a shot, they're going to get right into their flow game. So this is still flow.
Texas Tech switching on this occasion here, guard on the 10.
Hey, I love the fact that we're showing Texas Tech. We're also showing Alabama, because these are really good defensive teams, especially Texas Tech. But right now they get back into their flow. You'll see it here. But notice perimeter on perimeter, something else that Gonzaga does a great job. Their guards playing off of each other and sprinting away and moving on penetration. As you start to worry about the ball screen or the low post catches, all of a sudden one of their three perimeter players puts the ball on the court and they play off of each other extremely well. No different than a cut that we just showed on the previous clip. Again, that spacing, right? You got two side on the left. You got the one side on the right. First look here for Chet is high-low. In the middle third is where their bigs operate. Again, they replace each other. Now, again, the two sides on the right side, right? And now here we go again, back to Timmy. And again, Drew Timmy, excellent passer. When he's on the perimeter, he might not be a three-point shooter, but he's just a very clever, smart player. So now they get him the ball in the low post here, right off the strong. Another good pass by Nembhard. Easy shot off the glass. Went to the one side, right? Didn't like it. Now they replace each other. There's that penetration I talk about. You can't sleep on it. Just when you keep worrying about the ball screens or a low post catch or a high-low, there are three perimeter players. Anytime that they drive the ball, they really do an outstanding job of playing off each other, and they drive to pass. They don't drive to take a tough two. They drive to pass. And what does he create? An uncontested wide open corner three, which I think the analytics on this shot, this might be one of the two or three best shots in basketball, an uncontested wide open corner 3-point shot.
Yeah, the difference between, really good players, really good teams is the ability to sacrifice challenge twos for good threes. It's hard for guys to decipher early, especially young guys. They want to drive to score. Against good defenses like Texas Tech, you're dealing with 5 bodies in the paint. And if you jump, you're going to charge, and he stride stops, he lands on 2, delivers good shot for Nembhard from 3.
Okay, now I'm sorry. This is the first set play. So we talked about their breakneck pace, which they're very efficient. And then the breakneck pace empties right into their flow game, the two side, the one side, the high-low between their 4 and their 5. And then after timeouts, notice this is the first play of the game here against Pepperdine. They love to run sets, and they usually are going inside with their set plays unless they have a hot perimeter player. Here they sprint into a ball screen. Again, Nembhard does a really good job. Look at the shot they get.
When you're dealing with an aggressive coverage in the middle of the floor, I can't tell you how many teams can't take advantage of it. But when you deal with a team like Gonzaga, who knows what they're doing, if you recognize a blitz or a hard show or something in the middle of the floor with 2 on the ball, that roller going to the middle of the floor puts so much stress on those other 3 guys on defense in blue that you have to pick your poison. And the bottom line is you can't hold forever.
Right, because that's Strother is the shooter, Arch, and
he's a really good shooter.
He's lights out right now. I mean, you can't leave him open. So, you're right. They put 2 on the ball. They stay too long. And again, Nembhard's not a 5'11" point guard. He's big. He can see over people. But look at the shot. So now I wanted to show this because it's the same game, So this now becomes the first play of the second half. It looks like the identical play, except it's a trade. So remember on the first one, it was a strong action, which Strother was the shooter. There he is right in front of Pepperdine's bench. Now watch him. He's going to go
So this
from
is the
rim.
first one. And when you talk about strong, what you're talking about is ball screen, occupied ball side corner. Here's Strother, who's coming behind for the
Yep.
throwback three.
So his man has to either tag the roller, Drew Timmy, or stay at home. It's an impossible ask. So now the design of the play, same play, first play of the second half, instead of him emptying there, notice what he does. Now it's trade. So now Pepperdine gets confused on who's got Timmy. You don't want to leave Strother. And again, another great pass by Nemhard.
And again, you know, I don't know this, but I just know in the middle of the floor, their recognition right now is Pepperdine is really hard showing on their guards. When you roll from the middle of the floor, it puts so much stress. And not only do you have to worry about the tag, now you have to tag from a great shooter, come and roll, replace high. He leaves early. Another layup.
All right. Again, back to Texas Tech. Let's give them the credit they deserve. And again, we're on set plays. Right now, Gonzaga knows that Texas Tech is switching. And that's one of the problems with Gonzaga's personnel. Both bigs got great size here, right? So you got to switch. Timmy's a hard guy to switch on. They roll Chet Holmgren high. He's a good passer and a skilled player. And it's just real simple. It's high-low basketball, foul. Very difficult to switch when you play them as well. But their set plays are designed to attack the basket. Now, this is a big concept in their flow, like we talked about. When Gonzaga likes to hit the roller, the person that sets the ball screen on the pick and roll, hit the roller, they cut. Well, this is a set play to accomplish the same thing. Gonzaga knows that Alabama is being aggressive. They're hard hedging on the side. So he just predetermines what he's going to do. It's a set play, quick bounce, but really the set play begins on the catch by Timmy. And watch. Watson with a quick cut, layup. So anytime that you are aggressive on the side against them and they hit the roller, the threat is the cut. The roller becomes a passer. And that was actually a set play. Again, back to the clock. That's the media timeout of the fourth 4-minute segment of the first half. So they're coming right after timeout. They know Alabama's hard hedging. Throw it to Timmy. 45-degree cut by Watson. Great basketball. Same thing. They know Alabama's aggressive. They throw it to Timmy on purpose. He's such a good passer, but Alabama stays at home. So now he just plays one-on-one until they leave late. Look at that three-point shot that he got. Right? So when you talk about being the number one offensive team in America, and really for the last 4 years, they've dominated that category. They're so well coached. Their system is so in place. And the shots that they get, in my opinion, are better than the shots that any team in college basketball gets. And I think it's been interesting to watch Tommy Lloyd come to Arizona. And obviously he took over for me, but I don't have a problem giving credit where credit's due. They've implemented the Gonzaga system. And if you watch Arizona play right now, you know, Arch, their 2-point field goal percentage is high. Their tempo is actually even higher than Gonzaga, and they're very efficient on offense as well. Maybe not as efficient as Gonzaga is, but they're in that same ballpark running almost a similar, if not exact system.